I grew up in that rain. You know what I mean? So I don't like rain. I love this hot, beautiful sun here. You know, it makes me strong too. It gives me energy. You know, and rain brings me down. It's depressing. You know, very depressing. So I just love the sun. Yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
I'm so excited that you came to be part of this. I know you have a ton of stories. I'm super excited to hear them.
Yeah.
Why don't we go ahead and start from the very beginning? We can start from whenever you were 6 years old. So you moved from Hilo.
I moved from Honolulu to Hilo. My mom moved over to Hilo from Honolulu. She was a nurse. And when she got to Hilo, we lived in Hilo at a certain address. I don't know where because I was just a baby, just born. But anyway, my mom remarried my stepfather. His name was Jack Ota. Okay, he was a Japanese man. My real mom was a Japanese woman, but my real father was Irish. After she got divorced and went to Hilo, she met a Japanese guy and she got married to him. His name was Jack Ota, and he adopted me. So my real name, my real father's name was Shortwell, but after he adopted me, my name changed to his name, Ota, O-T-A. So I'm half Irish, half Japanese. I grew up in Hilo, you know, with my mom, and then she married that Japanese guy, and then we lived on 722 Manono Street in Hilo. Guess what? We lived across my classmate who owned a potato chip company. It was called Ate Barra's Potato Chips. And every day as a small kid, you know, 3, 4, 5 years old, I used to cross the street to go to their house and go to their factory and watch their operations of how they made all their potato chips, packaged it, right? And put it in the boxes to send it out to stores and supermarkets and whatever. And they would give me all the reject potato chips. I must have ate 1 zillion potato chips every day. I brought home reject potato chips. So, you know what's funny? I never got sick of potato chips. After eating 50 zillion potato chips, I still like potato chips. His name was Walter Atebara. His family had the business, but Walter Atebara, he and I were classmates in high school, and we graduated the same year, you know, 1969. But I lived across the famous Atebara's potato chips. They were famous on the Big Island. So then when I got to 6 years, before that, my parents were Buddhists, okay? Religiously, they were Buddhists. We had neighbors who were Christian. So when I was 6 years old, the neighbors asked my parents, could we take your son to our Christian church? And my parents said, yeah, sure, go ahead. So I went to a Christian church. I learned about God. I learned about Jesus. I learned about this, you know, all about the life of Jesus, the Word of God, the Bible, singing, and all that. And then I started the first grade. I went to Waikia High School. I started the first grade. Now, in the morning, the kids will wait for the teacher at the door. When she opens the door, the kids will run in, climb up, push the windows up, and help her open the windows for her in the morning. And I was one of them one morning. She opened the door. I ran in, trying to beat the other kids. I went up the cubbyhole. I pushed the window out, and something pushed me out of the window. I think it was Satan. But anyway, I fell 1 story straight down. I went on the cement sidewalk head first, cracking my head open, showing my brains. The next thing I woke up, I was in the hospital bed. My head was bandaged like a big watermelon, and my mom was on the bedside crying. She said, the doctor said you were supposed to be dead, And she said, Jesus came out of my mouth. It took 52 stitches to sew my head back together, and I'm still alive today. So, after I went to first grade, I healed up, and I went back to school, and then my house was on 722 Manono Street. Okay, my auntie and uncle, they lived right by the tsunami zone, tidal wave, where the tidal wave could come in and wipe their house out. So my father told them they could come into our house, move into our house on Manono Street, and we would go up about 3 miles up to Paneava, where they have farm lots, and we would buy a farm lot up there. So they moved into our house, and this was 1959. Okay, 1959 is when Hawaii became a state, the 50th state of the U.S. 1959, and we moved up the same year. He built a house, my father, stepfather, and my auntie and uncle moved in our old house there. So after I left, they shut Waikia High School down because of the danger of a tidal wave coming in and wiping it out. So after moving to Paneava, I went to another school. It was called Waikia Elementary School. So I started up there at the 2nd grade till the 6th grade at Waikia School. And you know what? It was fun because recess time we would play kickball, dodgeball, German dodge, and all that stuff. And I would go and a few other boys would go and play jacks with the girls. We would play jacks, and we would play hopscotch with the girls and jump rope. But we weren't, we were straight. But we just liked to play with the girls. So anyway, and then we used to go underneath the building, and we used to play marbles. We used to shoot marbles underneath too. So, man, I had a great life in elementary school. It was fun. And sometimes we would have to go to the cafeteria to be cafeteria helpers, to work in the cafeteria and help them, right? So I had the job of handing out the milk. And we had chocolate or vanilla milk in bottles, not little containers, but bottles in those days. This was in 1960. 1960, 1961, 62, they were in bottles. So while I was at my station handing out the milk, everybody for some reason liked chocolate milk, but they didn't have too much of it, so they would run out. So my friends said, hey, we want chocolate milk. So what I did was I would hide the chocolate milk in the back in the bushes. So when people came and said, I want chocolate milk, I said, oh, all out, I would tell them. But I would have about 6 or 7 in the bushes for my friends. So when my friends came, they would get their chocolate milk. And then later on, the people that didn't get their chocolate milk, they found out. So when they came to the line, they would go in the back in the bushes and grab their chocolate milk. And I couldn't do anything about it. So that was a wild time, at the cafeteria. And also, I love lunchtime there because there was this kid, his name was Evan Camacho. I'll never forget his name because we were classmates in high school too. But he would bring home lunch, okay, in his little lunch can. And he had the best tuna sandwich. I mean, I never tasted a better tuna sandwich than that. So I used to tell him, hey, Evan, come on, I trade you my cookie or something for one of your tuna sandwiches. And this went on every day. I would eat tuna sandwich every day. And then I got addicted to tuna sandwich. I love tuna sandwich, And then later on, I learned how to make tuna sandwich, right? My own tuna sandwich. in a special way. And my wife would tell me, honey, you make the best tuna sandwich in the world. I said, yeah, I had help from Evan Camacho. It's all started with Evan Camacho in the cafeteria and his tuna sandwich. So then I finished elementary school and I went up to intermediate school, and that was the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th grade. Okay, now those were the times of my life, because I started baseball in the 7th grade. I started caddying golf in the 7th grade. So I was playing golf and baseball growing up. And my goodness, wow, I just liked golf so much. I would go to the golf course at 6 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of times I'd come home at night at 8. It was all dark. I'd ride my bicycle up there in the morning and ride my bike back, okay? And I had to go up a steep hill to get up to the golf course. And I remember one time coming back down to go home, I was coming down fast because it's a steep hill, and all of a sudden my chain came off. I didn't have no brakes. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to go all the way down and I'm going to die. And so I thought so quickly, and I looked ahead of me, and on the left side I saw this kind of a little shed-like garage with a big pile of dirt. And I steered my bike right into it. I crashed into the pile of dirt and I flew over. I flew over the pile and landed on soft ground. And I was alive. I put the chain back on, and then I just rode back down and went home. But that was one of the wild times of my golf days. Okay. Then, when I go to the golf course, oh my goodness, after we caddied, I was paid $3 a bag. And after we caddied, all the caddies would go and play golf. We all go out there and we all play golf. And we played golf, and we played golf, and we got better, and we got better. And also, the caddies used to gamble. We used to play cards, dice. We used to putt for money. That's why I'm a great putter today. Every day I was putting, and I had a big bankroll in my pocket full of dollar bills and $5 bills. I mean, I was a millionaire at 12 years old, and my parents never had to give me money, and they always wondered, hey, how come you never ask us for money? I just tell them, oh, I don't need no money. I was getting all my money from all them other caddies. I was winning all their money. So, and in those days, a sandwich, an egg sandwich or a tuna sandwich was 20 cents. They had a machine that would drop a cup down and fill it up with different sodas. That was only 10 cents. So I would buy 2 sandwiches and a soda for 50 cents. That was a filling meal for me for 50 cents. A plate lunch would cost only 75 cents. So those were the days at the golf course. But after many years, I got very good. I mean, I became very good in golf. And in 1984, I set the course record there. I shot 10 under par, and I set a new course record at the Hilo Municipal Golf Course, where I started caddying at 12 years old. I also became very good. I went to qualify for the National Public Links Championship in the mainland, where if you win, you get to go and play in Augusta at the Masters if you win the National Public Links Championship. A friend of mine in Honolulu, who is a pro, his name is Guy Yamamoto, he was one of the players that qualified in the National Public Links Championship, and he won it. And he got to play at Augusta in the Masters. And he eagled the 10th hole. He eagled the 10th hole, which is very, very rare and hard to do. Yes. And so my life in golf has been so good to me. And today I teach golf. I sell clubs, I repair clubs. I learned how to repair clubs when I was growing up, and I got very good. So it's like a income. I retired 3 times. I retired the first time 25 years as a tour director. Then I retired as the first transit bus driver on Maui. I did that for almost 10 years. I retired from that. Then I picked up a job picking up medical transport patients in wheelchairs, walkers, or canes. I did that for 10 years and retired. So I retired 3 times. And I'm going to make 70 years old. I feel like 27. And I still can work. But it's like I'm working, teaching, selling, and repairing clubs. And it's a very good extra income. Because I'm a senior on a fixed income, but this financial golf teaching and club fixing clubs and selling clubs, it gives me a good income to keep it going. So I'm comfortable. I'm not a billionaire or millionaire or whatever or super rich, but I'm just comfortable and I'm happy because I love to teach. I have a gift of teaching, so I use it. And it works out very well because my students excel. They get good and they get better and better and better, and they enjoy the game of golf because I always tell people, you gotta take lessons. You must take lessons because if you don't know what you're doing, you go out there and you can't do anything because you don't know what you're doing. But if you learn and get taught the right way and you practice, you're gonna become very good. And you're going to enjoy the game more. But a lot of people, they go out and they don't get lessons. And they just don't do well and they just keep doing bad. And then they get frustrated and then they quit. So that's the sad part about it. Because a lot of people are proud to and they don't want to take lessons, If you just release and let yourself go and take lessons, man, you become a new person. You become a new person, man. I tell you what, it's an awesome feeling. It's an awesome feeling just to be able to hit that golf ball and make the shots and make hole-in-ones, make birdies, eagles, sink putts, long putts. Today, I sank a 70-foot putt. Yeah. So tell me if that's not exciting. I mean, the guys who are playing with me, they almost jumped out of their shoes when they saw the ball roll in the hole that far, 70 feet. So that's my golf part. The other part where I started baseball. I started baseball at 8 years old, and I went up to the big leagues, and I became very good in baseball also. But I cannot do 2 things at once. So I chose golf, which has been very good to me, and I can teach because I have a gift of teaching. So I went to golf and I just left baseball behind. It's just a sweet memory of, my days of playing. But I tell you one thing, I played for the Homestead Braves. And we had all different teams around the island that we had to play each other. And this team called Meisho, they were the toughest team and nobody could beat them, right? But anyway, we played them and we beat them. My team, the Braves. And we were the only team that ever beat Meisho. So, after intermediate school, I went to high school. Now that's the exciting time. Woo! High school. My first car. I could drive at 16 years old, and I had to get a permit. So, where's the car? I didn't have a car until my cousin said he would let me use his car to get my permit. And his car was a 1959 Volkswagen Bug. So here I am inside this Bug, standard with the clutch, and I'm on the hill rolling back, just freaking out, I said, oh my God, what is this? And then you gotta play with the accelerator and the clutch, and then finally, I got it. And I did it. I got my permit. And I was finally driving. And guess what? My cousin ended up selling the Bug to my mother, and I kept the Bug, and I got to drive it all the time. That 59 Bug. And guess what? I love Volkswagen Bugs after that, because I had 4 Bugs in my life. 4 Beetles. And I'm always telling people, don't bug me. Don't bug me, okay? Just don't bug me. So anyway, after high school, I decided that I need to get a job. So Penny's in Hilo was going to open up their big Penny store. It's called in the Kaiko Mall. It was a big mall. It was called the Kaiko Mall. So they were going to open their big Penny store, and they were asking for applicants. So I applied, and they hired me. And I said, oh man, thank you. So guess what? We start getting trained. I'm trained in how I was assigned to the sporting goods department. Whoa, we had
a good department for you.
Whoa, we had everything. We had golf clubs. We also had guns, boats, pool tables, bowling balls, fishing equipment, rods and reels. We had everything you can imagine. Nothing was left out. So, they trained us. They even trained us how to drill a bowling ball. An expert came down from the mainland and taught us how to drill a bowling ball with the machine. So I could drill bowling balls. So anytime people came in to buy a bowling ball, we had to drill it, and it had to be measured with their finger size and everything, length, and and I was good because I got trained. So here I was drilling bowling balls. I never dreamed that I would be drilling a bowling ball. So I remember when I'd have night shift, we had this big, chubby assistant manager, and he would come running out and ask us, how you guys doing? He says, hey, don't worry. Just go back inside your office, man. We got it under control. And he would play Santa Claus, Christmas time. He was so kind of big and fat and chubby, but he was the Santa Claus. But he was a happy Santa Claus. He would be laughing, and he was a jovial guy. So anyway, so I got to know everybody in the store, and there was this one girl. She worked in the material department, where they have different kinds of material. And so one day, we were talking, and she asked me, "Oh, Bob, how would you like to fly?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Oh, my husband gives flying lessons at the airport. He wouldn't mind taking you up." I said, "Oh, wow, that would be, I never did go in a plane before." So she said, "Okay, go down to the airport at a certain time, certain day, and my husband will be there, and he'll take you up in his plane." So I went down, and I met him. We got inside the plane, and he showed me all the things in the plane, the pedals, the steering wheel, the gauges. He showed me everything about the plane. So he put his earphones on and he called the tower and he gave his sign and said, "Whoa, okay, we're ready to take off." So we taxied out to the end and we started to take off. We started to roll down the runway, and he pulled the wheel back and we rose up in the air, and we was flying. We're up there. He said, "Okay, Bob, take the wheel and fly to the sugar mill." So I took the wheel and I was flying the plane to the sugar mill. He asked me, "Oh, by the way, Bob, where do you live?" I said, "Oh, over there on that side." You know, I pointed, right? So he said, "Okay, I'm going to take over right now and we'll go over to your house." So we flew over to my house. I know where the forest was and where the house was. We flew over. I said, "Oh, there's my house down there." I said, "There's my house." He started to fly around the tree line on the top of the house, right around in circles. And I looked down and I was going around and I could see my yard. And all of a sudden, I saw my brother come running out into the yard, looking up, wondering, what's going on? What's this maniac doing just above the tree line, flying around the house? So,
Did you wave to him?
huh?
Did you wave to him?
No, I didn't wave. I was in shock. So when I got home, I said, "Hey," I told my brother, "Hey, I saw you come running out of the yard." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I was in a plane going around the house." "No, that wasn't you." I said, how do I know that you ran out of the house in the yard?" So that was another thing that happened in my life. 1969, right after I graduated high school. So me and my friend decided we are going to go into the army. So I joined the army on a delayed entry program 6 months before you leave. So I was supposed to go in the beginning of January of 1970. So all the way through with pennies. I told them I was leaving in December after Christmas. So getting close to Christmas time, we had our Christmas party. It was really, really fun. But I was kind of sad because I was going to be leaving, and the people were so nice. Everybody was so nice. Nice people, all in the departments, you know. So one thing that we used to do was we used to get together after we worked, and like it was Friday night, we'd go down to the nightclub and we'd just have, you know, a few, talk story, dance, whatever, and go home. So I was down there with a few guys and a few girls, you know. And there's this one girl, she works in the jewelry department. Wow, she's beautiful. She is beautiful, but she was married. She had a husband, but she was, you know, she was down there just having a good time, whatever, and she's going home. So after we walked out, and then she tells me, "Oh, Bob, can you take me home?" And I told her, "No way. I'm not going, no, your husband going to kill me. And I ain't taking you home." She said, no, he's not going to kill you. I don't have a car. Can you please give me a ride home?" No way. "I'm not taking you home." "Oh, please." She started to beg me. And then I said, "Okay, I'm going to take you home." So I drove her all the way up, maybe about 7 miles up to her house. I stopped outside. It was all dark. And she says, "Oh, Bob, can you walk me up the steps to the top where I live? You know, it's all dark." I said, "No way, your husband gonna kill me. No, I'm not doing that." She said, again, please. She started to beg me. Oh my goodness. "Okay, I'm gonna walk you up there and that's it, man. I'm running out. So I walked up the steps. It was all dark. Walked up the steps. We got to the door, and just when I was gonna turn, the doors slammed open, right? Just came right open. The lights came on. Everybody went, "Surprise!" All the pennies people were inside there. They gave me a surprise going away party. That's what you call a surprise party. surprised and shocked, you know. But what a bunch of people. I mean, so here it came. Beginning of January, time to leave for the Army. So I was down at the airport. My mother was there crying as usual. All my friends were just saying, you know, take care and all that. And I left and I went to basic training in Fort Ord, California. That's where I took my basic training. When we got there, I had long hair down to my shoulders. Everybody got their head shaved off, bald. It's funny because when you go in that barber shop with about 20 barbers, right? They ask you how you want it done. You say, oh, just trim. They just shave your head right off. One thing about the Army is that before I joined, the recruiter asked me, you see, you have a choice to what you want to do in the Army. They don't just put you anywhere. So the recruiter asked me, what do you want to do when you get in the Army? I said, well, I type 60 words a minute. Why not be on clerk? You know? Oh, okay. So he assigned me, I was supposed to go to Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indiana. So after we got to basic training, we had to take tests. And I scored high, very high on the test. And this guy called my name out and he said, are you Robert Ota? I said, yes. He said, well, I want to talk to you. Come into my office. And I sat down and he said, you know, you scored very, very high on the test. And I represent Special Forces, Green Berets. So he told me all about the Special Forces, Green Berets and all that. You know, you got to go to jump school, you know, parachute school and all that. And so he explained, and after that you go to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And I was supposed to go to Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indiana, and learn how to be better in my typing. So then he asked me the billion-dollar question. So what? Do you want to change your MOS and go into the Special Forces, Green Berets? I said, why not? Why not? I went from a clerk to Green Berets, Special Forces. I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, for my jump school. That was 3 months of intensive training, and we jumped out of planes.
Were you scared?
Well, the first time, you know, you're a little bit scared, right? But after that, you get used to it. Okay? So I got my orders after that to go to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, to go training with the Special Forces over there now again. I got to go up there and train again. Okay? I was in a platoon. A platoon is made up of about 40 men. Okay? And they're made up of, the platoon is made up of 40 men, and they make up 4 squads. 4 squads of 10. The orders of my platoon was to attack that hill. And my job as a machine gunner was to stay back and prep the hill with machine gun fire. Just fire on that hill, prep it. Then they also have mortar rounds barraging the hill. They're firing mortar rounds, live mortar rounds on the hill. You know, like say there's enemy up there, that's to suppress them or keep them down or, you know, wipe them out. So that's what our orders was. So anyway, I fired a machine gun. Mortars were going off too on the hill, going off, exploding and everything. Then my platoon at the bottom of the hill got on line and they started to go up the hill. When they get up a certain ways, they radio the mortar crew to shift fire, move away to another area, or stop firing. Then the platoon goes all the way up to the top of the hill. So they were going up the hill. I saw them in the distance, starting to go up the hill. I saw the mortar rounds stop, and then I followed behind. So when I got to the base of the hill, I looked up, I saw the platoon just going on to the top, reaching the top. And all of a sudden, whoom! Mortar round hit them dead center. They didn't shift the fire. They brought it right back on them. There was total chaos. Total chaos. The radios was going nuts. Me and my 2 crew members, we started to walk to the top of the hill. I got up to the top of the hill. I saw guys laying all around wounded. I saw a guy laying down. These guys are all my friends. They're all in my platoon. I saw this guy, both his legs were blown off. His scrotum was blown off. He had a big hole in his chest. This other guy, he had his arms all blasted up. And all these other guys are laying with shrapnel in their legs and arms. They're all wounded. So we had to call for a medevac from Puerto Rico to come in to pick up these guys. They flew and took them about 25 minutes. And while that time was coming, the guy was losing all his blood. They came finally, but they missed the hill and flew down to the base and passed us. They came back in about another 10 minutes or so. By that time, the guy was dead. The other guy was dead. 2 guys were dead already. And then I was helping this sergeant on the stretcher. And I looked, and his right foot was half blown off. It was hanging over. And he says to me, "Bob, straighten my foot up." So I put his foot back up, and it fell back down. So after that, it was just total shock. 2 guys got killed, 8 guys wounded. And then another incident happened. This guy goes out to the firing range where they fire howitzers, cannons, right? He digs up a big live round and brings it back to the tents where everybody's sleeping. Puts it underneath the bed. If that thing blew up, it would blow the whole tent up. It would kill everybody. This is a big round. This is not a mortar round. This is one of the big cannon rounds. So somebody found out and got this guy, and they arrested him.
He did it on purpose?
Yes. Yeah. Something wrong with his head. So they took the round and they disposed of it. But they arrested him, and I guess he had an Article 15 court-martial. But that was the time in Puerto Rico. That was my time in Puerto Rico that happened. So we flew up on a Chinook helicopter to Indian Town Gap, Pennsylvania. And on the way up, we had engine problems. The engine started to sputter. And we were over like West Virginia or the mountains or where the hillbillies live or something. I don't know where we was. But all of a sudden, we just started to come down because we were losing power. We came down and landed in this field in the middle of nowhere. The back door opened up and we started to walk out with our rifles, right? All of a sudden, these guys, they look like hillbillies, started running at us with shotguns. They thought we were aliens. They never saw a helicopter before. Wait, we're Americans, we're Americans. And they said they never saw a helicopter before. They thought we were aliens coming out the back. And then we had some off time. So I used to go over to Hershey. Hershey is where they make all the chocolate. And when you go into that town, you get overwhelmed by chocolate smell. The whole town just smells chocolate. Chocolate. Later on, after I left the army and came back to Maui, met my wife, and we got married. She was a realtor, so she bought this couple a condominium here on Maui, and guess where they were from? Hershey, Pennsylvania. And every year, they were good friends of ours, right? Every year, they would send us Hershey candy that has not been on the market yet.
You got the hookup.
Not who you are, it's who you know. It's good to know Hershey. That's another part of my life. It was a sweet deal. It was a sweet
No
deal.
pun intended.
Yeah, sweet deal. So, after 3 years, my time was up in the Army. I came back home to Hilo. I was bored. I was bored. So what did I do? I went down to the Army recruiter and I asked him, hey, you got any airborne units in Europe? He said, there's one in Italy. They used to be in Mainz, Germany, but they got kicked out because they ransacked the whole town. So I said, oh, okay, sign me up. 5 more years. So I picked up Italian pretty fast. And when I got there, I was really in shock because when I was in a bathroom, I was standing there and I was doing my thing and this girl comes in and squats down right next to me and starts to do her thing. They share the bathrooms. So okay. So I always waited until nobody was inside a bathroom before I went inside there. And I jumped out of C-130 planes and also balloons. It's so quiet. We're way up there. He opens the gate and then he tells us to F off. F off. And so I said, what you said? F off. And then we wanted to fight him. We wanted to fight him because we thought he was telling us F off. But it turned out that F off to them means to just to go. Go, jump. That was another part of my life.
Can I ask you? I want to ask you some questions.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you could live anywhere else in the U.S., where would you go?
Anywhere else? Oh, the best place for me would be Arizona. Arizona. Yeah.
Why Arizona?
Well, because the weather is hot there. There's no rain. There's no tidal waves. And I don't think there's too many earthquakes. And there's no tornadoes. I don't think there's any tornadoes.
What is your earliest memory?
My earliest memory was being inside a flower patch with my neighbors, a girl, and I was only about, I think, 4 years old. 4 or 5 years old. And I remember that we were kissing. We kissed each other inside an anthurium patch. My first kiss. My first kiss at 4 years old. How can you forget that?
Right. Who is the most influential person in your life?
Most influential person, I gotta say God, because He saved me when I fell out that window and cracked my head open and I was supposed to be dead. And I received Him when I was 6 years old. Yeah, so all through my life He has influenced me, and I just try to be better and better through Him. I mean, it's only been about Him, because I don't think about myself, but it's Him that has given me everything. I can't do anything on my own. So it's Him.
What is something that you are afraid of?
I'm gonna tell you right now, I am really afraid. Not really afraid, but I just don't like them, and if I see them, I get spiders. You know why? Because when I was 6 years old, they took me to a movie called Tarantula. That's the one thing. I am not afraid of anything else except those eight-legged freaks.
What is your definition of happiness?
My definition of happiness is having a wife that loves you with all of her heart, her mind, her soul, and her body. Love. That my past wife, who died 3 years ago, she was really strong with the Lord and this and that. But anyway, she would always she had a heart, beautiful heart, always wanted to buy me stuff, golf clubs, golf shirts, this, that. I said, I don't need nothing. She said, what do you mean you don't need nothing? I said, I don't need nothing. I have everything. I get God. He provides me with everything. There's only one thing I want from you, I told her. She says, what's that? I said, your love. Your love. And if you give me that love, oh, a happy person in the world. That love. Oh, man. It's awesome, that love. Whew.
Let's see,
Yeah.
what is one of your greatest strengths as a person?
My greatest strength is the joy I have. I'm always happy, and I always try to make people happy. Even, if I see somebody depressed, I try to make them happy. Because the joy of the Lord is my strength. I tell jokes. I make people laugh. It's great to laugh. God didn't make us to be sad or depressed. He made us to be happy.
You're good at it.
Yeah. I had a good teacher. I have a good teacher.
You do.
Yeah.
All right, if you could have any superpower, what would you have and why?
Superpower. Okay. I would want to have super strength, right? So I could stop evil people from hurting others. Just watching them trying to hurt people, I get superpowers and go in there and I just stop them. Stop them cold. Yeah,
That's a good one.
because I do not like evil. I don't like people mistreating other people. I don't like people disrespecting others. I don't do it. So,
Thank you for not doing it.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Do you think Maui in particular changes you as a person?
Sure, it changed it. It changed me big time because of the weather. The sunshine, and Maui is awesome. They have more free parking than anything.
Rock and roll.
They don't tow away guys with illegal parking here because everything is free and so much parking.
Yeah, that's good. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, okay. 10 years, I see myself here on Maui. I see myself still playing golf. I see myself still teaching. I see myself still repairing clubs. I see myself with another wife. Another godly wife who loves me and I love her. That's what I see. Please, Lord, let it happen.
What is one thing that you would like to tell any younger generations, or that any advice that you would want them to know?
I would tell the younger generation, right, to get with, it's not about religion, but get with God, right? Because great things happen through God, and Jesus. Great things happen. It's happened to me. I'm a example through Him. And if I can do it through Him, you can do it through Him too.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome, Haley.